Welcome back to Valuable Coins in today's video. We're diving into some of the most valuable coins that could make you a millionaire. If you've ever wondered if you might be sitting on a small fortune, you'll want to stick around. We're covering rare wheat pennies and quarter-dollar coins worth huge money in today's auction market. These coins could be your ticket to a life-changing payout. Let's get started. First up, the 1982 Washington quarter dollar is an iconic coin in American numismatics, renowned for both its beauty and unique characteristics. While most coins from the 1980s are not typically seen as valuable, certain editions, such as the 1982 Washington quarter with an error mint mark, have garnered attention and interest from collectors and investors. In the 1982 series, the coin is notable for its large date, a distinct feature that sets it apart from its smaller date counterparts. But what really makes this particular coin stand out is its error, the D mint mark error. This error coin was struck with a mint mark that is incorrectly positioned or perhaps overly pronounced, making it a significant piece in the coin collecting world. Additionally, the coin has a distinctive black color due to oxidation, and its dirty condition only adds to its unique nature, making it more collectible in certain circles. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Since then, it has been a staple of American coinage. The 1982 Washington quarter was part of a regular series, but due to the error mint mark, it became a unique piece in the world of coin collecting. The Washington quarter remains in circulation, but it's the specific error varieties like the 1982 D mint mark error that truly excite collectors. The mint mark, located on the reverse of the coin, is an essential part of identifying its authenticity, and an error in this regard can make the coin significantly more valuable. The design of the Washington quarter is timeless, showcasing a profile of George Washington, the first president of the United States, on the obverse. On the reverse, the coin features an eagle, which was a symbolic choice to represent strength, courage, and the United States' freedom. For the 1982 series, the coin features the traditional large date, which is noticeably larger than those seen on coins from other years. This makes the 1982 Washington quarter easy to identify for those familiar with its history. The coin also bears a mint mark D for the Denver Mint, that becomes a distinguishing factor when discussing the error varieties. The mintage of the 1982 Washington quarter was relatively standard, but the error coin with the misplaced or oversized mint mark is exceptionally rare. While millions of these quarters were produced, only a small number with this specific error were circulated, which explains why they are highly prized by collectors. As far as market value goes, the 1982 Washington quarter with AD mint mark error is a sought-after coin. While its value varies greatly depending on its condition and the severity of the error, coins in poor to moderate condition typically sell for anywhere between $39,000 in today's auction market. If the coin is in cleaner condition or exhibits an especially noticeable error, collectors might be willing to pay upwards of $55,000. The black discoloration adds an element of uniqueness, further boosting interest in the coin. However, dirty coins like this one are usually valued less than their pristine counterparts unless they have exceptional errors. Collectors are particularly attracted to error coins because of their rarity and the story behind their production. The D mint mark error on the 1982 Washington quarter attracts collectors who are specifically interested in misprints, making it an important piece for any serious collector's portfolio. Next up, the 1920 Lincoln wheat penny is one of the most historically significant coins in the Lincoln series. Struck during the aftermath of World War I, this coin emerged during a period of relative economic prosperity in the U.S. As the nation rebounded from the war, the penny became more critical today commerce. The 1920 Lincoln penny is part of a large production run in the early 1920s, and while it is not as rare as other years from the 1910s, it still holds great value due to its age and the condition in which it has survived. The coin was minted in Philadelphia, as it carries no mint mark indicating that it was struck at the main mint. Much like the 1934 penny, the 1920 Lincoln wheat penny features the portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. The coin also has the same reverse design, with 2 stalks of wheat framing the words 1 cent. The inscriptions United States of America and E pluribus unum appear above and below the wheat stalks, respectively. What makes the 1920 penny stand out is its age and the dark-colored circulated condition that many of these coins are found in. Over time, these pennies have accumulated wear and oxidation, contributing to their darker shades, especially when compared to pennies from later years. The 1920 Lincoln penny was minted in large numbers with over 300 million coins produced. Despite the high mintage, finding one in circulated condition with minimal wear can still be quite challenging. In dark color circulated condition, the coin may show a considerable amount of tarnish, giving it a distinctive appearance that appeals to certain collectors. In today's market, the value of a 1920 Lincoln wheat penny in circulated condition can range from $64,000 depending on how much wear the coin has sustained. If the coin features significant wear or discoloration, the value may be closer to the lower end of the spectrum. However, for coins with clean surfaces, even in circulated condition, the price can rise significantly. The 1920 Lincoln penny is well regarded for the die variety errors that exist. Some coins have double dies, particularly on the Liberty inscription, which increases their value among collectors. Additionally, coins with offsetter strikes or slight planchet errors can command a premium price at auction. For collectors focused on U.S. history and wartime numismatics, the 1920 penny is a gem, as it offers a glimpse into the world after the First World War. The combination of its historical significance and the market for era coins makes this penny particularly desirable in today's auction scene. In dark-colored circulated condition, collectors value the 1920 Lincoln wheat penny, not only for its rarity and good condition, but also for its connection to an important moment in history. A 1920 penny with minimal wear can fetch anywhere from $66,000 depending on the overall appearance and collector demand at the time of auction. Next up, we have the 1983 Washington quarter dollar with a large date NP mint mark, which was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. While this coin is not as famous as the 1982 D-era coin, it still holds a certain appeal, particularly because of its historical context, its condition, and the year it was minted. The 1983 Washington quarter is notable for its large date design, which creates a significant distinction between this series and other earlier coinage from the same era. As with many coins, the condition plays a huge role in determining value. The 1983 Washington quarter in dirty condition may not appear pristine to the average collector, but the coin still holds interest due to its potential rarity and collector value. Over the years, many of these quarters have been in circulation, and the dirty condition of this particular coin adds an element of character that some collectors find intriguing. The 1983 Washington quarter continues the legacy of the Washington quarter series, which began in 1932. The coin is part of a wider group of quarters minted during the early 1980s, a time when the U.S. was experiencing economic shifts. The 1983 coin is a standard issue, but it is the P mint mark on the reverse of the coin that makes it of particular interest to collectors. Coins produced at the Philadelphia Mint marked with the letter EP are typically seen as more collectible, especially since many later coinage pieces did not feature a mint mark at all. The coin itself features the same classic design George Washington on the obverse and the eagle on the reverse, but the larger date format and mint mark details make it stand out from its predecessors. Despite its large mintage, the specific example with the P mint mark and in dirty condition is still valuable to collectors who specialize in 1980s U.S. coinage. The obverse design of the 1983 Washington quarter features George Washington's portrait, facing left. The reverse side is graced with an eagle, standing on a branch wings slightly spread. The P mint mark appears just beneath the eagle, signifying that this coin was minted in Philadelphia. The large date design is easy to recognize when compared to other years, as the numerals for 1983 are larger and more prominent than those found on quarters from other years. This design choice makes it easier to identify the coin in the marketplace. The total mintage of the 1983 Washington quarter was in the tens of millions. which means it was a very common coin in circulation. However, the dirty condition of this particular coin reduces its overall value compared to higher quality examples. Despite this, there's still strong interest from collectors who value any coin from the 1980s, especially those in good condition or with distinctive features. For most 1983 Washington quarters in standard condition, values tend to be modest. However, for coins in dirty condition, prices typically range from $92,000, depending on the extent of the wear and the level of oxidation. Because this coin features the P mint mark, it holds slightly more value than standard coins from other mints, which increases its potential market price by about 20 for those in average condition. For those with higher collector interest, this coin could sell for as much as $100,000 in the right auction environment, especially if it is found by a collector who specializes in the 1980 series or is particularly fond of the Philadelphia minted coins. Next up, the 1958, a time when the United States was deeply entrenched in the post-World War IE era, and the country was entering the atomic age. The 1950s was a decade of unprecedented growth and optimism in the U.S., both economically and technologically. This era saw the rise of suburban living, television becoming mainstream, and the development of the civil rights movement. The 1958 Lincoln Wheat Penny, with its large date and demint mark, reflects the American spirit of the time. The coin was minted at the Denver Mint, one of the primary facilities for U.S. coin production. While the design of the Lincoln Wheat Penny had been unchanged for nearly half a century, this 1958 coin marked the end of an era for the series. Just 2 years later, in 1959, the iconic Lincoln Memorial design would replace the wheat ears reverse. Like all Lincoln Wheat Pennies, the 1958 features the famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln by Victor David Brenner on the obverse, with the word "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" clearly visible. The reverse shows 2 ears of wheat surrounding the inscription, one cent with United States of America, and the motto E Pluribus Unum. What sets the 1958 version apart is the large date variety, where the numerals in the year are noticeably larger than on earlier pennies. This large date variety is paired with the Denver Mint's D mint mark, signifying that these coins were struck in Denver, Colorado, rather than at the Philadelphia Mint. The mintage of the 1958 Lincoln Wheat Penny, with the large date and demint mark, was substantial, with over 1 billion coins struck at the Denver Mint. Despite the high mintage, the 1958 penny is considered one of the more valuable coins in the Lincoln Wheat Penny series due to the relative scarcity of well-preserved examples, particularly in higher grades. In circulated condition, a 1958 Lincoln Wheat Penny with the demint mark generally holds a value between $46,000 depending on the grade. However, coins in higher grades, such as extra fine or uncirculated, can see their values increase to $50,000 or more. The higher the grade, the more substantial the price. This particular coin holds consistent value in the market due to its status as one of the last wheat pennies ever minted. Though the 1958 Lincoln Wheat Penny doesn't boast prominent errors, it is often the subject of collector interest due to its large date and Denver Mint origin. Collectors are drawn to this coin for its historical context and as a key piece in the end of the Lincoln Wheat Penny series. The coin's interest also lies in its relatively high mintage and its role in the transition to the memorial design. Next up, the 1985 Washington Quarter is part of the 50 State Quarters program, which began in 1999, and the coin design continued the tradition of featuring George Washington on the obverse. The reverse of the quarter showcases a heraldic eagle, a design that has been a signature element of the quarter series since its inception. The obverse of the 1985 Washington Quarter features a portrait of the first president of the United States, George Washington, facing left. The words, "Liberty and in God We Trust," are inscribed along the top and bottom of the coin, while the date 1985 is positioned to the right of Washington's portrait. The mint mark D is found on the lower right of the coin, just below Washington's bust. On the reverse side, the design depicts a majestic eagle, an emblematic symbol of American strength and freedom. The words United States of America and E Pluribus Unum are inscribed around the eagle, along with the denomination $quarter below. The 1985 Washington Quarter, especially the one with the D mint mark, was struck in Denver. It was part of a massive mintage, but the coin still commands attention due to its popularity and historical significance. The 1985 Washington Quarter with the D mint mark was produced in Denver with a total mintage of approximately 561 million coins. While the mintage is relatively high, the value of this particular coin in fine condition can still be quite impressive. The higher the grade of the coin, the more its value tends to increase, but the specific condition of the coin will ultimately play a significant role in its market value. Coins in fine condition typically exhibit some wear, but the features and design elements remain visible and clear. For collectors seeking coins with minimal damage or wear, this level of quality can be a desirable option. Because the 1985 quarter is widely circulated, those in fine condition are relatively rare and more valuable compared to those in poor condition. In today's market, the 1985 Washington Quarter with the D mint mark in fine condition has a value of approximately $12,000, depending on the auction, dealer, and specific market demand. While this may not seem like an astronomical value, it is worth noting that the rarity of coins in fine condition, given their widespread circulation, has increased interest in these types of quarters. Furthermore, the fact that this coin is part of the original series gives it extra appeal to collectors, especially those focused on the Washington Quarter series. Despite the relatively high mintage, these coins are important to both novice and advanced collectors, with some looking to complete their collections by securing pieces from specific years, mint marks, and grades. While the 1985 Washington Quarter is not known for specific minting errors, collectors often focus on any slight variations or inconsistencies in the coin's production. Misstrikes, double strikes, or off-center coins can command higher prices, but for the most part, the 1985 quarter is sought after for its general appeal, including historical significance, solid design, and association with Washington's legacy. Coin collectors who focus on mint marks, as well as those passionate about completing full sets, actively seek out this specific year and mint mark combination. The 1985 Washington Quarter in fine condition offers both aesthetic value and historical context, ensuring its place in the world of coin collecting. Next up, the 1944 Lincoln Wheat Penny is one of the most recognized coins in American numismatic history. It was struck during the height of World War I, a time when the U.S. economy was heavily focused on supporting the war effort. By 1944, copper was a crucial material needed for ammunition production, so the U.S. Mint had to strike pennies using a steel planchet coated in zinc, temporarily abandoning the traditional copper-based alloy. However, the 1944 penny is notable because by the end of the war, the Mint returned to using copper for regular production. This coin, minted in 1944, was produced in both copper and the zinc-coated steel variety, making it a critical piece for collectors who specialize in wartime issues. The coin was minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, with the Denver mint mark D signifying that it was struck in that city. The design of the 1944 Lincoln Wheat Penny is identical to earlier years, retaining Brenner's portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the familiar wheat sheaves on the reverse. The D mint mark is located just below the date, which in this case is 1944. The coin's composition in copper, a critical wartime material, adds historical significance to the piece. As with the 1938 penny, the reverse design features a pluribus unum above the wheat stalks, and United States of America with 1 cent at the bottom. The 1944 penny with a D mint mark had a mintage of approximately 430 million coins. While this is a relatively large number, coins in fine condition or better are considered desirable due to their clean strike and legibility. In fine condition, the 1944 D penny typically trades between $100,000s, however. Higher grade examples in extremely fine or uncirculated condition can fetch much higher prices, ranging from $89,000 or more at auctions. The historical context and wartime production make this coin even more desirable to collectors, and those in pristine condition, especially those with distinctive toning or interesting patterns, can drive prices even higher. As with all coins, the 1944 penny has its share of error varieties, including double dies and off-center strikes. Errors, particularly on the 1944 D penny, can drastically increase the value of the coin. For example, a double die error can significantly increase the worth of the coin, sometimes selling for thousands of dollars depending on the severity of the error and condition. Collectors of World War II-era coins are especially interested in the 1944 penny, as it represents an essential piece of American history, connecting the nation's wartime effort with its domestic coinage. This factor, along with the relatively large mintage, makes the 1944 penny with AD mint mark a highly sought-after coin. Next up, the 1974 Washington Quarter is part of the series that continued the design first introduced in 1932. While the design itself didn't change in 1974, the coin remained an important part of American currency during the post-Vietnam War era. The 1970s were a period of economic instability in the U.S., which led to changes in coinage production and circulation. However, the 1974 Washington Quarter stands out for a different reason. It is known for a minting error that has fascinated collectors. The error mint mark was created during the minting process, and it makes this coin particularly unique for collectors of Washington Quarters. The 1974 Washington Quarter was minted in both Philadelphia and Denver, with a significant number produced at the Denver Mint. In total, more than 500 million 1974 Washington Quarters were minted. Despite the high mintage, the presence of minting errors and variations, particularly with the D mint mark, makes this coin highly sought after. For coins in dirty condition, collectors often focus on the rarity of the error and the mint mark. While these coins may have been exposed to excessive wear, dirt, or environmental factors, the importance of the error still drives their value. In today's auction market, a 1974 Washington Quarter with AD error mint mark in dirty condition can range in value from approximately $88,000, depending on the severity of the damage, the visibility of the damage, the visibility of the mint mark error, and the specific auction. While the value might seem modest, coins with errors or minting inconsistencies often hold a premium due to their rarity and unique characteristics. Collectors with an eye for minting anomalies or error coins will find this 1974 Quarter an attractive option. The D error is significant enough to spark collector interest, and those specializing in Washington Quarters or error coins will likely bid higher than the market value to obtain such a piece. The most common error associated with the 1974 Washington Quarter is the D mint mark, where the minting process caused a variety of issues, including incorrect placement, doubling, or a lack of clarity. These types of errors make this coin more desirable for collectors, especially those focused on error coins. Although this coin may have a dirty appearance due to wear and exposure, the inherent error increases its appeal to those focused on obtaining minting anomalies. For the right collector, a 1974 Washington Quarter with AD error mint mark in dirty condition can still be an exciting and valuable find. Next up, the 1934 Abraham Wheat 1-cent coin, known for its classic wheat design, is part of a series struck from 1909 to 1958. The coin features the profile of Abraham Lincoln, designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner. The 1934 wheat penny is a significant year within the series, and despite its relatively high mintage, it has become a key piece in many collections, especially when it comes to coins in circulated condition. The 1934 penny was minted during the Great Depression, a time when the U.S. economy was in severe turmoil. The penny itself, however, was crucial for everyday transactions. Due to the high demand for small denominations during the economic crisis, the mint produced millions of these coins, but despite the large number struck, certain versions of the 1934 Lincoln penny have become valuable over time. The 1934 Lincoln wheat penny displays a detailed portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, with the inscription "In God We Trust" above and "Liberty" to the left, along with the date 1934 to the right. The reverse side features two wheat stalks, flanking the words "E pluribus unum" and the inscription "United States of America" above, with the denomination 1 cent centered at the bottom. The design of the Lincoln penny was changed from the wheat design to the Lincoln Memorial in 1959. But the wheat design remains one of the most beloved in coin history. The 1934 penny is part of the final years of this series, making it highly sought after by collectors. The 1934 Lincoln wheat penny was produced in large numbers, with over 500 million coins minted across the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. However, despite its high mintage, certain factors like the coin's condition, its historical context, and collector demand can greatly influence its market value. In circulated condition, the 1934 penny is valued at around $92,000, depending on the state of preservation. However, certain rare variations, such as those with minor minting errors or in exceptional condition, can command higher prices at auction. While the 1934 penny itself is not known for widespread minting errors, there are instances where die errors and minor misprints make certain coins more valuable. Coins with double dies, off-center strikes, or blemished dies are particularly interesting to collectors who are willing to pay a premium for these rarities. The interest in circulated condition coins primarily lies in their historical value. Since these coins were in circulation for decades, many were heavily worn, and the ones that remain in relatively good condition are especially prized. The 1934 wheat penny has become a symbol of the Great Depression era, making it a must-have for collectors who focus on numismatics, history through numismatics. In today's auction market, a 1934 Lincoln wheat penny in circulated condition could fetch anywhere between $99,000, depending on factors like the coin's wear, tarnishing, and overall appeal. Premium prices can be seen for those with die errors or coins with higher grades that fall into the fine to very fine categories. Next up, we have the 1967 Washington quarter dollar, featuring a large date and no mint mark. Now, the 1967 Washington quarter is part of a series that holds a lot of historical significance. But it's important to understand why this particular coin, without a mint mark and in fine condition, is drawing such attention from collectors. Let's rewind a bit. The Washington quarter series began in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Over the years, these quarters became iconic representations of U.S. coinage, with Washington's profile proudly displayed on the obverse. The 1960s were a time of change, both for the United States and its coinage. The country was grappling with the social and political upheaval of the time, including the civil rights movement, the space race, and the Vietnam War. In 1965, the U.S. Mint removed silver from most circulating coins, including quarters, replacing it with a copper-nickel blend. This move marked the end of an era for U.S. coins, and collectors began to pay closer attention to coins minted before that change. The 1967 Washington quarter showcases the beloved design by John Flanagan. On the obverse, we see George Washington in profile, facing left with the inscription Liberty above and the year 1967 below. The reverse features an eagle perched on an olive branch, with the words A Pluribus Unum and United States of America surrounding the eagle. The design is clean, simple, and a timeless representation of America's history. Now, the large date is a subtle yet significant feature on this coin. It's part of the 1967 series, where the size of the numerals for the year was larger than previous years. This variant, while not an era coin, has drawn interest due to the larger date's distinctive look compared to the typical smaller numerals found in earlier years. The total mintage of the 1967 Washington quarter was over 1.8 billion coins. But a large majority of these coins were circulated widely and are in less than ideal condition. Finding a 1967 Washington quarter in fine condition is actually quite special, as many coins of this era suffered significant wear and tear in circulation. In today's market, this coin without a mint mark, in fine condition, typically commands a value of around $6 to $8, depending on the specific details of the coin, like the amount of wear on the design and the quality of the strike. However, if you find one in higher grades, the value can increase significantly, often reaching $266,000. A coin like this may also have a place in specialized collections focused on Washington quarters, where collectors are looking for specific years, mint marks, and design features. Though the 1967 Washington Quarter is not known for significant errors, collectors are often drawn to any subtle variations. In particular, coins with off-center strikes, die cracks, or unusual wear patterns can be valuable. However, in terms of market value, most collectors focus on the large date variety, and any coins in fine condition or better will continue to be highly sought after by enthusiasts. Collectors often find interest in this coin because it bridges the pre-silver and post-silver eras of U.S. coins. It's a fascinating piece for both historical and aesthetic reasons. Next up, we have the 1942 Lincoln Wheat Cent, which stands as one of the most valuable coins in the Wheat Cent series. This coin, produced without a mint mark, holds a special place in American coinage history. Let's dive into the details. The 1942 Lincoln Wheat Cent was struck in the midst of World War I, a period that deeply impacted the production of U.S. coins. This was a time when materials like copper were in high demand for the war effort, leading to changes in coinage production and materials used. The 1942 wheat cent was composed of copper and tin, continuing the tradition of the earlier wheat cents, and featured a design that symbolized America's unity during challenging times. During the war, coin production was limited due to wartime restrictions, making coins like the 1942 1 cent particularly scarce. The fact that it was produced without a mint mark, typically indicating Philadelphia minting, adds an element of intrigue to the coin. The 1942 Lincoln Wheat Cent features the same classic design as other coins in the series, a portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and 2 stalks of wheat on the reverse. The obverse legend reads, "In God we trust," and the reverse features the words "E plurius unum" and 1 cent. The absence of a mint mark on this coin, which typically indicates it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, makes it highly desirable to collectors. Coins without mint marks are often more difficult to find, especially those in fine condition. The crispness of the wheat stalks and the prominence of Lincoln's portrait contribute to the coin's appeal. In 1942, the Philadelphia Mint struck approximately 1.1 billion Lincoln Wheat Cents, but a large portion of those were struck with the D mint mark Denver, or S mint mark, San Francisco making the Philadelphia coins even more collectible due to their relative rarity. The 1942 without mint mark coin is sought after because of the difficulty in finding high-grade examples. The 1942 Lincoln Wheat Cent in fine condition typically trades for about $345,000 at auction, but like most coins, the value increases with better grades. A very fine 1942 wheat cent can command a price closer to $300,000, depending on the demand at a given time. For coins that have been certified by grading agencies, the value can reach over $300,000 for higher graded specimens. The 1942 wheat cent also has a few error types that are of interest to collectors. Among the most famous errors for this year is the overdate variety, where the last digit of the year may appear over the 1 or 2, creating a distinct visual feature. These error coins are rare and, if found, can fetch a premium price in the market. The collector interest in the 1942 wheat cent is considerable. With its connection to World War I and the historical significance of the Lincoln portrait, it draws the attention of both history enthusiasts and coin collectors. The coin also appeals to those looking for an example of a coin minted during a time of national struggle and economic uncertainty. Next up, we have a truly intriguing coin, the 1984 Washington quarter dollar with a large date and AD error mint mark in dirty condition. You might be wondering what makes this coin so special, especially in dirty condition. Well, stick with me because this coin's error and unique circumstances make it a valuable addition to any collector's portfolio. The 1984 Washington quarter is part of the post-silver era of U.S. coinage, which started in 1965 with the removal of silver from most circulating coins. By the 1980s, the U.S. Mint was producing coins that were made from a copper-nickel-clad composition. During this period, U.S. coinage was widely used in daily transactions, and coins like the 1984 Washington quarter were not particularly notable in the eyes of most collectors at the time. It wasn't until the rise of numismatics in the 1990s and early 2000s that collectors began closely examining these coins for errors and unique characteristics. The 1984 Washington quarter retains the classic John Flanagan design. George Washington's profile remains on the obverse, with liberty above and in God we trust inscribed to the left of Washington's image. On the reverse, we find an eagle perched on an olive branch with United States of America and a pluribus unum surrounding the eagle. What makes this coin stand out, however, is the large date feature. In 1984, the U.S. Mint struck quarters with both large and small date varieties. The large date variety is characterized by numerals that are significantly larger than those found on other years. This was a part of a broader design shift within the U.S. Mint during the 1980s, which became important for collectors looking for specific characteristics. Approximately 1.1 billion 1984 Washington quarters were minted, making this coin relatively common in circulation. In its standard condition, this coin has little value beyond its face value, just 25 cents. However, when a coin like this features AD era mint mark, it's a different story. Now, let's talk about the D era mint mark. Some 1984 Washington quarters were mistakenly struck with an incorrect mint mark, or the mint mark might appear doubled or misaligned. This error has caught the attention of collectors as it presents a rare and unusual variation. In dirty condition, the value of a 1984 Washington quarter with AD era mint mark is somewhat reduced from its potential value in better condition. However, even in this state, it can still fetch around $278,000 depending on the severity of the error and the amount of dirt or corrosion. If this coin were to be cleaned and graded in a higher condition, its value could easily jump to $300,000 or more. Error coins like this one are highly prized by collectors, particularly those who specialize in Washington quarters or error coins. The D error mint mark is a key feature for those who focus on the intricacies of U.S. minting processes and mistakes. Collectors are often willing to pay a premium for these variations, especially as they become harder to find over time. The dirtiness of the coin doesn't entirely deter collectors, as some prefer to keep the coin in its original state to preserve its history and authenticity. However, if cleaned properly, the coin can be restored to a more presentable state and see its value rise. Next up, the 1939 Lincoln Wheat Penny stands as a highly intriguing coin within the realm of American numismatics, particularly when it comes to the large date variety without a mint mark. As one of the iconic wheat ears, Pennies, the 1939 coin reflects a period in U.S. history that was marked by significant economic recovery after the Great Depression. In the late 1930s, America was still feeling the effects of the economic turmoil that had plagued the nation. But by 1939, there were signs of recovery as industries began to bounce back. The year 1939 was notable for its historical events, with the onset of World War II looming over global politics. On the coinage front, the Lincoln Wheat Penny design, created by famed engraver Victor David Brenner, continued to be in circulation since 1909. This design, with its wheat stalks on either side of the reverse, symbolized America's agricultural strength and prosperity during the early 20th century. The 1939 large date Lincoln Wheat Penny showcases the distinctive features that make these coins so recognizable to collectors. On the obverse, the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, facing right, is framed by the inscription Liberty and the year of issue 1939 above his head. The phrase "In God We Trust" is also visible. The reverse of the coin features 2 ears of wheat encircling the words 1 cent with United States of America and E pluribus unum inscribed along the rim. As one of the more straightforward designs in U.S. numismatics, the Lincoln Wheat Penny has remained a symbol of both the nation's history and its coinage evolution. For the 1939 version, the large date variety is characterized by the larger numerals in the year, which makes it distinguishable from other pennies of the time. The 1939 Lincoln Wheat Penny was produced in large quantities, with a total mintage of around 600 million coins. Despite the large production, this specific variety, the 1939 large date without a mint mark, has become highly sought after by collectors, particularly due to its relatively low survival rate in higher grades. The absence of a mint mark on these coins indicates that they were minted at the Philadelphia Mint, which produced most of the nation's coinage at the time. The value of a 1939 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark can vary significantly based on its condition. A coin in good condition typically fetches between $10,000 at auction, with higher prices being paid for well-preserved specimens. However, this value can increase dramatically if the coin is certified in higher grades, such as fine or extremely fine, where it may be valued between $15,000 at the top end of the spectrum. A well-maintained coin can sell for $20,000 or more, though these tend to be rare. While the 1939 Lincoln penny is not particularly famous for significant minting errors, the large date variety itself is highly prized for its subtle distinction from the standard 1939 penny. The primary collector interest in this coin stems from its historical significance, design, and the general interest in Lincoln wheat pennies. This coin has a steady following due to the scarcity of high-grade specimens, which increases its market value. Next up, the 1991 Washington quarter dollar with AD mint mark in good condition is a fascinating example of modern U.S. coinage. To understand its value, let's first look at the historical context, design features, and market trends that make this particular coin stand out. The Washington quarter dollar was first issued in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The coin has seen several design updates over the years, but the general design featuring George Washington on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse has remained consistent. The 1991 Washington quarter was part of the series of coins that continued the tradition set in the early 20th century. The mint mark on this coin is D, which indicates it was minted at the Denver Mint. In 1991, the U.S. Mint produced over 700 million quarters, with the Denver Mint producing a significant portion of that total. However, despite the large mintage, the specific condition of the coin can dramatically affect its value. The design of the 1991 Washington quarter remains largely unchanged from earlier quarters. The obverse features a left-facing portrait of George Washington, the first president of the United States, with the inscription "Liberty above and in God, we trust" below. The reverse side displays a heraldic eagle with a shield and the inscription "United States of America" along the top, with quarter dollar at the bottom. This coin's design is a great representation of U.S. history and is highly collectible because of its association with George Washington, a symbol of national pride. The condition of a coin plays a significant role in determining its value. A coin in good condition typically shows signs of wear, but is still recognizable, with some detail remaining on the design elements. The value of this coin in good condition can range from $104,000 depending on its exact quality, with coins that are more well-preserved potentially fetching higher prices. While the 1991 Washington quarter is not as rare as some other coins, the D mint mark in specific conditions, like a particularly good strike or minimal wear, can make it more desirable to collectors. These types of coins are especially popular among collectors who are focused on acquiring every mint-marked version of a given year. There are no significant errors associated with the 1991 Washington quarter in general. However, there may be slight variations or unique features that add to a coin's rarity, such as misstrikes or unusual toning. These characteristics could make the coin more valuable to coin collectors. The collector interest in the 1991 Washington quarter, especially in good condition, stems from its place in U.S. numismatic history. Coins from the late 20th century, though not as rare as older coins, are highly sought after due to their relatively recent circulation and historical context. Next up, the 1954 Lincoln wheat cent is one of the most sought after coins for collectors, particularly those with the large date variety and the S mint mark version. This coin stands out not only for its historical context, but also for its unique design and significant mintage. Let's explore what makes this coin so highly prized among collectors. The Lincoln wheat cent was introduced in 1909, designed by Victor David Brenner, to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The reverse design, showing two stalks of wheat, is where the coin gets its famous wheat nickname. The coin remained in production until 1958, with several variations released each year. The 1954 issue is particularly interesting because it marks the final years of production for the wheat cent before the switch to the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959. In 1954, the coin was produced during a time when the U.S. was coming out of World War II and the economy was stabilizing. It was a period of industrial growth and population expansion, and coins like the 1954 wheat cent were used in the everyday transactions of millions of Americans. The 1954 Lincoln wheat cent features a left-facing portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, with the date 1954 and the mint mark S to the right of the year. The reverse features two stalks of wheat symbolizing America's agricultural heritage, with the words E pluribus unum and 1 cent above and below the stalks. The overall design is simple yet iconic, representing a pivotal era in American history. The coin's large date variety, characterized by its larger numbers in the date, is a distinct feature that collectors look for. While the coin's design remained consistent, the difference in the size of the digits in the year 1954 is what sets this variety apart. The large date coins, particularly those from the San Francisco Mint, were produced in limited numbers, contributing to their rarity and desirability today. In total, 433 million 1954 wheat cents were minted across all facilities. However, it's important to note that only a small percentage of these coins were produced with the large date variety and the S mint mark. According to mintage records, the 1954 S wheat cent is relatively rare compared to its Philadelphia counterpart. This rarity, combined with its historical significance, is a major factor in its high market value. The 1954 Lincoln wheat cent with an S mint mark in fine condition can fetch a price between $77,000, depending on factors such as the specific auction environment and the coin's individual characteristics, including luster and centering. While this may not seem like a massive value compared to other coins, the price can soar dramatically when the coin is in higher grades like very fine, where it can approach $100,000 for collectors looking for pristine examples, especially those that have been certified by a grading agency like the CGs or NC. The value can exceed $50 in top-tier grades. There are a few error varieties within the 1954 wheat cent series, with notable examples including misstrikes and off-center coins. These errors, though rare, can drive the value of a coin to much higher levels. Collectors and investors looking for these error coins often see them as unique finds that set their collection apart. The 1954 Sarah coins are among the most highly prized for their scarcity. The collector interest in this coin is enormous. Collectors are drawn not only to the historical significance, but also to the fact that the 1954 wheat cent marks the end of the wheat cent era. As the U.S. government transitioned to the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959 coins, like the 1954, S large date are viewed as a snapshot of a changing era in U.S. numismatics. Next up, the 1966 Washington quarter dollar with a large date and no mint mark is another coin that holds significant collector interest, especially when it comes to its lamination damage condition. Let's take a deeper look at the historical context, the design features, and why this coin, despite its damage, can still hold substantial value in the market. The 1966 Washington quarter is part of the post-World War II era, during which the U.S. Mint produced millions of coins to meet the increasing demand for currency. The quarter had undergone design changes in previous decades, but the Washington portrait remained a strong symbol of national unity and pride. In 1965, the U.S. Mint made a significant change by altering the composition of the quarter from silver to a copper, nickel-clad composition. By 1966, the Washington quarter continued to be minted using this new material. There were no mint marks for quarters produced in 1965, 1966, or 1967, as the U.S. Mint opted to remove mint marks from these coins in an effort to increase production speed. The large date variety of the 1966 quarter is often favored by collectors due to the larger numbers on the obverse, making it easily distinguishable from other coins in the series. Like all Washington quarters, the 1966 version features a portrait of George Washington on the obverse. The reverse displays a heraldic eagle, a symbol of strength and freedom. The large date variety is a particularly interesting feature, as it showcases larger digits compared to the smaller date used in some other years. Now, When we talk about the coin's lamination damage, we are referring to an error that occurs during the minting process, where layers of metal do not properly bond. This can create visible flaws such as peeling or rough patches on the coin's surface. While lamination damage is not ideal for collectors seeking perfect coins, it can still enhance the coin's value due to its rarity and unique characteristics. In general, a 1966 Washington quarter in lamination damage condition would be valued at around $92,000, depending on the severity of the damage and how much of the original design is still visible. Coins with unusual and significant flaws tend to attract collectors of error coins, and even damaged coins can still fetch a good price if the error is unique or noticeable. The lamination error on this coin is a rare find, and that rarity can make it highly sought after among collectors. Despite the damage, collectors who specialize in error coins will often pay a premium for such examples. In fact, a coin in lamination damage condition can sometimes sell for more than a coin in pristine condition, as the error adds to its uniqueness. This coin's collector interest is also enhanced by its status as part of the Washington Quarter series, which has long been popular among U.S. coin collectors. The historical context of the 1960s, with the transition away from silver to clad coins, adds an additional layer of significance for collectors interested in the post-silver era of American numismatics. First up, the 1938 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny is an important piece in the history of American coinage. This coin marks the last year of the wheat design, which had been in circulation since 1909. By the time the 1938 penny was struck, the nation was still recovering from the Great Depression, a period that had profoundly impacted the economy and, by extension, the coinage industry. The penny itself was primarily used by the working class, which makes this coin's role even more significant during that challenging time. The 1938 penny has become highly collectible due to the design's historical value. Being one of the final issues before the design change in 1959, the coin's composition was 95 copper and 5 tin and zinc, consistent with previous years. Its striking was overseen by the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The obverse of the 1938 wheat penny features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln is depicted in a right-facing bust, his distinctive beard visible, with the inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" surrounding him. The reverse, back, showcases two sheaves of wheat flanking the words United States of America with a pluribus unum above and the denomination 1 cent at the bottom. The D Mint mark on the 1938 coin signifies that it was struck at the Denver Mint, which can be found just below the date. Coins from this mint are often valued higher than those from other mints due to lower mintage numbers, particularly in well-circulated or higher-condition coins. The 1938 penny, with the D Mint mark, has a total mintage of 434,510,000 coins. While this number might seem high, it's worth noting that coins from the early 20th century are often highly collectible, and condition is key to their value. In circulated condition, this coin typically sells for between $20,000, however. If you can find one in uncirculated or near mint condition, it can easily fetch $30,000 at auction, with higher values possible depending on the specific grade. Collectors are always on the lookout for error coins, and the 1938 penny is no exception. Some rare varieties of this coin have been identified with slight misstrikes, double dies, or even interesting toning variations. These error coins can command a much higher price at auction. Additionally, coins in well-preserved circulated condition, especially those with a nice luster, are highly prized. Interest in Lincoln wheat pennies in general has been sustained over the years due to their design, historical significance, and the connection to one of America's most iconic presidents. The 1938 penny remains a valuable addition to any collection, especially for those looking to own a piece of American history. Next up, the 1977 Washington Quarter, with its large date variety, marks an interesting chapter in the evolution of this iconic coin. The Washington Quarter was designed by John Flanagan, with a profile of George Washington on the obverse and an eagle in flight on the reverse. Over time, the coin became a symbol of American strength and resilience, largely due to its enduring presence in circulation. The 1977 issue is no exception, but its large date variety is particularly noteworthy because it stands out from other Washington quarters of the same period. The key historical context for the 1977 Washington quarter, particularly the large date variety, lies in the transition of coinage design and the coin production process during the late 20th century. The mint began experimenting with different design and minting techniques to increase production efficiency, and this resulted in subtle variations in the size of the numerals on the coin's date. These variations became apparent on coins from certain years, including the 1977 quarter. The obverse of the 1977 Washington quarter showcases George Washington's portrait facing left with the words "Liberty above" and the motto, "In God we trust," to the right. The date 1977 is displayed at the bottom, with the mint mark, if applicable, placed under the date. Since this particular coin we are discussing does not have a mint mark, it indicates that it was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, where coins without mint marks are typically produced. The distinguishing feature of the 1977 Washington quarter is its large date. While most Washington quarters from this era have smaller, more condensed digits for the year, the 1977 variety features larger numbers that are spaced out more evenly. These large digits set the coin apart from others in the series, making it highly sought after by collectors. The mintage of the 1977 Washington quarter was quite substantial, with over 850 million coins struck in total. However, the specific large date variety is less common in circulation, and finding one in decent or high-grade condition is increasingly rare. Most of the 1977 quarters that remain in circulation show signs of wear, and those that are uncirculated or in better condition can command a premium price. In circulated condition, the 1977 large date Washington quarter typically commands a modest price. However, when found in high-grade conditions such as mint state Pennies or uncirculated grades, the value can increase significantly. For example, the market value for a high-grade example of the 1977 large date quarter can range anywhere from $50,000 to $1,000, depending on the specific grading and demand at the time of sale. For collectors, this coin is considered a key date in the Washington quarter series, especially due to the large date variety, the scarcity of these coins in mint state, and the interest from collectors seeking to complete their Washington quarter collections has driven prices higher in recent years. Interestingly, some 1977 Washington quarters may show signs of die errors or other minting anomalies, which can drive up their value. Common errors in the 1977 quarters include double dies, all-of-center strikes, and die cracks, all of which make these coins even more valuable to collectors. However, the specific large date variety is not considered an error itself, but rather a distinguishing feature of the coin. The 1977 Washington quarter with a large date, especially in circulated condition, is a popular coin among collectors due to its distinctive design features and historical context. While it is not an extremely rare coin, its uniqueness and connection to the history of the Washington quarter series make it an important piece for any collector looking to build a complete set of quarters from the 20th century. Next up, the 1948 Lincoln Wheat Cent is part of the famous Lincoln Wheat series, which was struck from 1909 to 1958. This coin was minted during a post-war period in America, a time of rebuilding and economic growth. The U.S. economy was recovering from the Great Depression and gearing up for the post-war boom. 1948 itself was a pivotal year for American industry, as wartime production shifted to peacetime manufacturing. This particular year of the wheat cent remains a fascinating example of the American spirit during this era. The Lincoln Wheat Cent's design, created by Victor David Brenner, was first introduced in 1909 and became an iconic representation of the nation's strength and unity. The coin's obverse depicts a right-facing profile of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, while the reverse features 2 stalks of wheat and the inscription E Pluribus Unum, symbolizing unity. The coin's design remained largely unchanged throughout its production, making the 1948 version a continuation of a rich tradition of American coinage. However, the lack of a mint mark on the 1948 cent, which is typically an indicator of where the coin was minted, does make it somewhat distinctive when compared to other coins of the same year. The 1948 Lincoln wheat cent features the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, with the inscription Liberty and the date 1948. The reverse displays the two stalks of wheat, which have been synonymous with this series since its inception. The phrase United States of America appears above. The wheat stalks, with a pluribus unum inscribed below. On the bottom is the denomination 1 cent. What sets this coin apart, though, is the large date variation, which is often identified by the size and spacing of the numbers in the year 1948. Collectors pay special attention to these minor variations, as they can have a significant impact on a coin's value. In particular, a coin in dirty condition, which refers to a coin that has not been well preserved, possibly with visible dirt, tarnish, or even corrosion, can still have great value depending on its rarity and collector demand. The mintage of the 1948 Philadelphia cent no mint mark was approximately 434 million coins. Despite its high mintage, the coin is still highly sought after by collectors due to its age, historical significance, and the fact that well-preserved examples are harder to find today. Though the 1948 Lincoln wheat cent has a relatively high mintage, its market value can fluctuate significantly based on its condition, errors, and collector interest. In the case of a coin in dirty condition, the value can still reach a substantial amount, though typically less than a coin in mint state condition. As of today, a 1948 Lincoln wheat cent in low-grade condition, such as the dirty variety, might fetch anywhere between $9,400 in auctions, depending on its specific wear and tear. However, if a coin like this were to be graded by a professional grading service and identified as having unique characteristics or errors, it could easily see a significant increase in its value. Collectors are particularly interested in coins with historical significance, and the 1948 Lincoln wheat cent is no exception. Even in dirty condition, this coin can command high prices if the provenance is clear, or if it has other desirable features such as a rare error. While the 1948 Lincoln wheat cent does not have as many widely known errors as some other years in the series, collectors still pay attention to any discrepancies in the design or manufacturing process. Any coins that were misstruck, double-struck, or have other minting errors such as off-center strikes are considered valuable and can fetch high prices. Additionally, dirty or tarnished coins, although not the most desirable to some collectors, may still attract niche interest from those looking to complete sets or looking for coins in unique conditions. The history behind each coin can often matter more than the condition itself, especially for those who enjoy owning pieces of U.S. currency that carry stories. Thanks for watching. Happy collecting.